Well, I'm finally back. Welcome to another episode of expatinterview.com. If you watched my last video, you probably remember that I was going to be home in my hometown of Bradenton, Florida, Manatee County, for a while. Got some health issues. Looks like I'm going to be here for a little longer than what I anticipated. But I thought usually I'm on the beach when I was in Mexico videoing. I thought I would do the same here and show you beautiful Anna Marie Island, a little bit of it, and tell you a little bit about the area. So let me get down here to the beach. As you can see, it's just an absolutely gorgeous area. Bradenton is just south of Tampa Bay. So coming south out of Tampa on I-275, you'll cross over the Skyway Bridge, and then you enter Manatee County, and you get to this beautiful paradise here. You may wonder why anybody would want to leave this paradise for Mexico. This is every bit as beautiful as the Yucatan. Once again, today, I promise you I'm going to give you my ideal place to retire in Mexico. So that'll be coming up. So I will be carrying my camera and doing some walking today. I expect I'm going to get some complaints because it's bouncing around. But, you know, that's the way it is. Give you a little shot of my pretty face. It's still me. I'm still here. So a little bit about this area. Anna Marie Island is one of the first islands south of Tampa Bay, and it begins a chain of barrier islands that go all the way down to Fort Myers, through Fort Myers to Estero Island. So this is a very beautiful area. I recommend if you ever plan on coming to this area for a vacation, you first check if you're going to do like a Airbnb or something. You check and make sure that's going to be canceled. You can cancel it if there's an algae bloom before you come. This area has been getting quite a few bad algae blooms, and you don't want to be here during that time. Right now, it's just absolutely beautiful, though. So then this, like I said, this chain of islands goes all the way down through Fort Myers. From here south, you cross over into Longboat Key. You get a little bit more of the high-rise environment there. North here to the tip of Anna Marie Island. Further north you go, it's a little bit more old Florida. Very quaint area. So you got a nice mix of things here on Anna Marie Island. It's just a real fun place. I highly recommend to visit here. I've also lived all around the perimeter of this entire state. This area south of Tampa Bay is my favorite area in the state. The south, Bradenton down through Fort Myers. I have lived on Estero Island, which is Fort Myers Beach. I don't know how that's coming after the hurricane. I forget which hurricane pretty much destroyed that. There for a long time, I know you couldn't even get on the island. Whether you can now, I don't know. But that's a beautiful area. My favorite place in the stretch is off of Sanibel Island, just before Fort Myers Beach. You can cut through Sanibel Island and go to Captiva. Now, Captiva is very old Florida and just very cool. So you down here, I highly recommend a visit there. Just going to take a walk as I talk here. As you can see, the water is absolutely beautiful. Miles of beach here. Just pristine. But, it's become very expensive here. After COVID, prices just went through the ceiling here. Just for an example, prior to COVID, I was paying like $875 or something like that for a beautiful one bedroom, one bath, newer 2017 manufactured home. Um, prior going to Mexico, they had raised the rent on that to 1,509, and you can't touch really one bedroom for the most part down here for less than 1,200. I got pretty lucky. I got for where I'm staying now a lot cheaper, but so you know. All right, so that's enough on this. If you have questions, feel free to put in comments about this area, and I can give you, more information on a one-on-one. You can always email me at expatinterview@yahoo.com as well. So, as I said, I was going to tell you about the number one place to retire in Mexico. Now, listen, this is my number one place. I know it's not for everybody, but this is what I found. Traveling to the west coast of Mexico, I don't know why anybody ever goes there. It's horrible. It's more expensive. I mean, when you think of beaches, you think of beaches like this that are white, sugary sand with turquoise waters or blue waters or green waters. There, it's mixed between sand and dirt on the beach. It's nowhere near as clean, and it's more expensive. The Yucatan, to me, if I was going to retire in Mexico, that's where I would go, especially in the Merida, city of Merida. If you like the city life, you're still only 20 miles from Progreso, which is my number one pick because I like being on the water at the beach. Progreso, Florida is that. The beach is as nice, maybe even nicer than this. The cost of living there, you can easily retire on $2,000 a month. And probably even get by on 1,500 if you watch your P's and Q's. So Progreso, Florida, although I was only there for a very short, I'm Progreso, Mexico, although I was only there for a very short time, it turned out to be my favorite. I really liked to show them. It was a little bit small and lacked a little some resources though. So that's why I'm saying Progreso. And like I say, you've got the best of both worlds there. You have the city of Merida nearby, which offers everything. After that, I just like being out on the beach, though. If they put a Walmart out there, it'll even make it better. So something has just happened here just over the last couple of days that I want to review with you guys. One of my fellow YouTubers has put an ad or a video on YouTube about being able to retire in Mexico for $525 a month. Guys, I want to caution you. I mean, I do my hardest, best work. I mean, I research to make sure the information that I'm providing is correct. And I'm not, once again, I'm not in this for the money. It's a hobby for me. It gives me something to do. And my goal is to provide information for those people who are trying to retire on a limited budget. So be careful on what you believe that you're seeing out there. There's different motivations. To be able to retire in Mexico on $525 a month is just bullshit. I mean, could you find it and make it work like that? Yeah, but I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, that's not accounting for any pleasure whatsoever. It's not accounting for incidentals that we all have. It's not accounting for even going out and having a beer. I mean, it's just a way to get viewers by attracting them to this $525 a month BS. So, I mean, really about anywhere here, like I said, 1,500 to 2,000, you can. However, here's the kicker once again. You cannot retire here with that kind of income. Look at my video under visas and residency, and you will see it takes almost $4,600 of pension income a month to qualify for permanent residency, or it's something like $183,000 in savings in the bank, and the savings has to have been there for um, a year, and the income you have to show, once again, pension income only, employment income doesn't count, has to show receiving that for 6 months. So it doesn't matter if you can retire here cheap. If you plan on living here and gaining residency, you gotta you can't do it. Come and stay for 6 months. You can live here during that 6 months on those kind of inexpensive funds. But then after that, I mean, a lot of people do what's called a border hop, and that means they either cross back into the states for a few days or a week or whatever, or Central America for maybe Belize for the same, and then come back in and start that 6 months all over. I do hear they're cutting down on that. So as I said, I am going to be stuck here in Bradenton for a while. So I just found it best. I went ahead and rented another mobile home. I plan on staying there for a year. I had to rent it for a year. I don't know. I'd probably get out of that if my health situations here. It's hard to. I got to see some specialists, and it takes a couple of months. So I was supposed to be in Brazil. I was supposed to leave tomorrow for Brazil. I had to cancel that because I've got these doctors. And that brings up another thing about retiring in Mexico or anywhere abroad. I felt confident in the beginning that, if something happens, there's good medical. I can, go to doctors wherever I'm at. But when something, is a little bit serious, you're concerned about, those ideals changed very quickly. And I didn't want to be abroad and have to deal with that. So that's why I'm back here. I got insurance, and I go on Medicare in a month. Um, but my insurance is better, so I'm trying to get it all out of the way while I'm still on my insurance. But anyway, so it's raised some thoughts. I'm not going to be able to be traveling here for a little while. So I've been thinking, my goal has been to offer information on how to retire, and I guess retire on a dime for less. While I was doing all my research about retiring abroad, because that seemed to be the best avenue for me at the time, I also researched other ideas. Part of my other plan was to I researched where it was cheaper to buy a house. Mississippi, you can buy a house. Even today, you can find a 3 bedroom, 2 bath for 75 grand. You finance that at a halfway decent interest rate. With taxes and insurance, you're still under uh, $700 a month. So there is that. Louisiana and parts of Texas and Alabama, you can find very similar type options. Um, but you have to be prepared, once again, prepared to buy and have the ability to buy. Unfortunately, interest rates are going up a little, but over time, average interest rates about 9%, 8.5%. So, it's still cheap right now. It's getting up there to be about average. And even at those rates, you can still keep your expenses under $700. With a small down payment on a $75,000 home. Well, when I actually went to Mississippi and looked at some of these homes, they weren't in areas that I wanted to live. That's why I followed through with the traveling to Mexico as my first stop and researching other places abroad. The other option that you have, and I really like this option, and I may do some of it if my health allows before I go, and that's to buy a camper and a truck or a RV, a motorhome. And there's actually a lot of places where you can take those and camp for free. I'm not talking about Walmarts and certain restaurants. I mean, those are also available for a stopover, but I'm talking about regular campgrounds. I'm going to put some websites in my comments and in the video here that you can explore. And that's a real viable option. I mean, if you haven't seen much of this country, you don't want to leave. Um, if you plan it right, I'm not talking about doing a lot of driving, but for example, here in Florida, I can live here or leave here in Bradenton in a motorhome and hop from one free spot to another free spot for 6 months before I ever get out of the state. So that way you're not going through a lot of gas. There are a lot of other incidentals. Well, I'll talk more about it in other videos. Yeah, it's a real pretty place here in Bradenton. Wish it didn't cost so much to live here. It's just out of sight, really, to be honest with you. See, people enjoy it. They're doing a lot of construction here alongside in the parking areas. I don't know, so a lot of the parking spots are gone. Sorry about that. Tipping you around here. It's funny how many complaints I get about little stuff. It's like they're watching the videos to critique how they're being videoed rather than what the content is. I actually had an older woman that was trying to bully me because of my voice. She literally emailed me and said, "What the hell is wrong with your voice? You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. You sound horrible." And I told her, I says, "Well, how about if I call you and we can discuss it?" So yeah, there's always something. You can't please everybody. That's what I've learned even more doing these projects. So my plans going forward, like I say, I'm going to be here for up to a year. Damn it. Um, and then I don't know if I'll go to Brazil as I was going to go, or I'm really my biggest goal is to get to Southeast Asia. I know that's a long ways for a lot of you, and you would never consider going there, but you get the healthcare is way better than Mexico, so that's one thing, and it's cheaper than Mexico, and it's a lot cheaper to qualify. Most places there, 2 grand, somewhere between 1,500 and 2 grand a month will qualify you for residency. So a lot different than Mexico. All right, so I'm gonna try to take you into a town here on Bradenton Beach and show you a little bit of what goes on. It's a really fun area too. So see you there. Just thought I'd show you a little bit of the picnic area that's on this side of the berm from the beach. They've done a lot with this over the last few years. Got a concession stand up here, gift shop. Put in several of these lifeguard stations up and down the beach. It rarely used to be any. Now there's a ton of them. This little building up here is a changing room. And then they got restrooms. This kind of stuff is all new. So it's a really good area. Lots of ample parking down here. You can even the bus comes from off the island uh, down here too, so you can even catch the bus. Um, if you plan on going further north on the island, it's a good idea because up there's not as good a parking. This Coquina Beach here area, as you can see, it's got a ton of parking. All right, I found a parking spot. It's kind of close to the downtown area. Well, I call it downtown, but Bridge Street, that's where all the fun is. Still a little walk, um, but I'm afraid if I get down on Bridge Street, there won't be a parking spot because all of this parking down here is kind of eaten up by construction. I'll show you. You can see way down there, this construction is that way pretty much all down through here, that area. Jaywalking here. So this is your typical beach area. I'm sure you've been in many. If you haven't been here, you've been in many like it. All sorts of gift shops, restaurants, bars. I'm going to take you down Bridge Street here and show you a couple of hot spots that I go to from time to time. All right, so here we're coming up on Bridge Street. Very famous area. If you're a Moose member, right there across the street on the roundabout, there's a Moose Lodge. Bridge Street, it's hard to count on getting a parking spot down here, like I said. A couple of the bars have their own parking, but if you leave there, they're going to tow your car. I didn't know they had a daiquiri deck down here. The famous Drift Inn on the island. You're gonna want to make sure you come here. This place has been here forever. They just did a nice remodel of their tiki bar. Morning. How you doing, guys? Here's what you get inside the Drift Inn. Hi. It's my girlfriend over there. She's kind of a stiff. And across the street here, we have the bridge tender. Oh my God. Right on the bay here. They got a little tiki bar across the street. Real nice place. One of my favorite spots. Got pretty good food here too. They play bar poker here, bingo. They do over the Drift Inn as well. A lot of fun. Good view. Pretty slow on a Monday morning, though. That's why I'm here. Weekends for sure. It's elbow to elbow down here. Well, and that's I'm going to conclude it there. Um, Hopefully, the information I'm providing you here is helpful to you making decisions on what your next retirement moves are. Like I say, over the next year, I hope to be doing some videoing, but probably be far and few between. But don't forget, like right there, hit like, and right there, hit subscribe. Thanks. Enjoy it. Bye now.